Hi you guys, this is Barbie Baptiste Gardner with Mommy Sense, Mastering Our Maze to Success.
Hi guys, this is Barbie Baptiste Gardner with Mommy Sense, Mastering Our Maze to Success. And we are here with my mother, the beautiful Estelle Baptiste, on Mother's Day. Hi Mommy.
Hi Barbs.
Now, first of all, this is my very first interview with a mom, an extension of the platform Mommy Sense. So my mom doesn't exactly know what I'm doing. I'm her daughter that's an entrepreneur. So I'm going to explain it to her and to you guys at the very same time. Here we go. So the platform it was conceived during, because I went through a time that was very challenging as a mom, a business person, I'm an entrepreneur, and trying to figure it all out and make it work was seriously a challenge for me. I would research successful people that I mentioned before, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, just all different successful people. And I would see continuously that their methods of success, I would find things that were challenging for me because I had my mommy duties to do. What about laundry? What about dinner for my kids? And then I felt as if they were excuses. But after a certain time and after talking to countless moms, I realized it's not an excuse. You have to embrace the things that are your challenges instead of pushing them off and saying, I can't do this or that because of this. So once I started to embrace it and spoke to more moms who also had those challenges, everyone had different ways that they were maneuvering through. No one had the exact same way, which was a blessing. And this platform was partly created so that as moms, as professionals, we know that we don't have to fit into whatever the stigma of what we think it might be to be a good mom, to be a working mom, to be successful. And if we embrace these things and share our experience with each other, then we will demystify that and also empower each other. And that's a great thing for ourselves, for our businesses, for our children, for our families. So that's what this is about. So my mother is not just my mom, she's a principal. Can I say the name of your school?
Yes.
She is a principal at Madison Middle School, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how long have you been a principal, Mom?
12 years.
12 years, okay. So as long as I can remember, my mother, she's been a principal for 12 years, and I'm 46, so she hasn't been a principal that whole time. She was in the teaching profession. But I always remember my mom as a working mom. But I always remember my mom as being very, very present. So in my life, like at my, whatever I was doing in my life. So first of all, Mom, since I shared the platform with you, do you think that is, and we're all transparent here, so tell the truth. Do you think there's that is relevant? Do you see a need for this with moms and business? The things that we are discussing.
Yes, because the way I feel about moms, being a mom, and also being a working mom, and after my husband passed away, your father after he passed away, then working as a single mom with still young children. I think that all moms are superheroes. We go through so much, but when you talk about a superhero, that's a mom.
Yeah.
You learn how to juggle all different things. You know what has to be done
Yeah.
in order to take care of your children. So no matter what, a mother finds a way to make it all happen.
Yeah.
And they feel that as a personal responsibility. At least that's the way it was with me.
Yeah. Okay, so do you feel that we are able to do it the way that we here to do it? Like, you as a mom, do you feel like having your children, if you had been in your profession, do you think you would have gone to the level of being a principal or your other goals at a faster rate had you not been a mom?
I probably would have, but I still would not have done anything any differently,
Okay.
because that's why I add the word super to mom,
Right.
because I feel that we raise our children to be independent, but we also, we have an inner strength that comes out when we are dealing with our children. And I know that I would want to get ahead because I want my children to get ahead. I have all girls, 3 girls, and it's different having a girl than a boy, and you want them to know that at all times they can take care of themselves, that they're not dependent upon anyone to take care of them, and that they can succeed professionally. And being a female does not hold you back. That you can be strong, you can be a wife, you can be a mother,
Yeah.
and still be a professional and be successful.
Yeah. So what's an example of you said superhero a couple of times. So what is an example of something that you felt that you had to do because you had your mommy part of your life as well as you pushing forward being a professional?
There were, at one point in my life when I was much younger and I was going for a postgraduate degree so that I could promote, I would get up early in the morning, have breakfast prepared for my kids, lunch prepared. I knew that I was responsible. They had to be dropped off for school so that I could do that before I went to work myself, find a way to be there, to pick them up, to get them home. And then at that time, I was working a second job teaching adult school, so I would rush home, make sure that dinner was there. I would make sure that, and then go off to adult school, come home, and make sure that my children were in bed by a certain time and that they had their dinner prepared. So it took a lot of preparation on the weekends to get all of this. And
Did you make the dinner?
yes, I did.
I know she
but
did.
I learned. You think they have something now about 15-minute meals? I can cook a fast dinner. I have mastered that, and it's good.
So good. I'm in awe when I stand and watch her cook the way she does. It's not like a microwave kind of a meal. She does it so fast, and it's like falling off the bone good type cooking.
And that's not to say, and I know you're probably wondering, or if anyone is watching this, well, what about the father?
Yeah.
Yes, he was there,
Yeah.
but for some reason, during that period of time when my children were young, my husband was there. He did cook, but he did the things I told him to do. When I said, you have to take this one to school.
Right.
You have to pick this one up. You have to, he would cook. He loved to cook.
Yeah.
But he cooked because he liked to. I cooked because I felt obligated to. I wanted to make sure. As soon as I would walk in the door on days that I wasn't working, you sat right here at this table while I cooked. You did your homework and I supervised it. And there was nothing there but homework first as soon as you walk in the door.
Right.
So he was there, but I don't think he felt the personal responsibility that that I did. Maybe I was a little too nurturing, too overprotective, but that was the mommy in me. That was the super mommy in me.
So, all of the planning that you're doing, when I'm listening to this, that's something I feel like I'm always doing, and where I need a lot of work with is the mental management, the pre-planning of for business and for my household. How relevant do you think that is in being successful in everything? Being able to pre-plan and think things out in advance, because you have to be the mastermind really behind everything, it sounds like.
You do, but it all goes back to how badly you want it. I wanted to be successful, and I knew that if I devoted an X amount of time to it, if I just did it, then I would get to my goal faster. So I didn't take time. Of course, a lot of times you will feel yourself being depressed or thinking that you've had enough, you can't do it, but it just depends on how much you want it. And of course, your children are the most important thing in the world to you, and no matter what, they come first, but you also know that there's an end goal, that where your happiness is, where you want to be successful, and then that makes it worthwhile, and it makes you work harder at it, and it helps you to plan. I want it finished by this time, and you dedicate yourself and you go for it no matter what. This is what I want to do, and this is the way I'm going to do it, and nothing stops you. Nothing stops you.
Okay. So first of all, I've never had this conversation with my mother specifically in detail like this. So I'm learning like you guys are, and I'm blown away. I'm loving this, especially because raising my kids now in 2018, I'm seeing that there's, of course, differences with technology, different things that we have, but really it's the same. It's a mom, a businesswoman wanting success, and her family is a core part of everything and making it work. It really doesn't matter what time period that's coming from, which is great. Do you think that your children, my sisters and I, also shaped the professional woman that you are? I should say being a mom.
I see that I was always present in every single thing in my children's lives.
Yeah.
School, no matter what. Social, I was always visible there. So I think that because I was like a role model for them, because I see them doing the same thing with their children.
Yeah.
And that's what one time, I don't know if you remember, I made a toast at a Mother's Day dinner, and I said, I know that I was a good mom because I look at my daughters, and I see that all of you are.
She's gonna make me cry.
And
Okay.
so that's how I know that we tend to live our lives in a cycle,
Yeah.
and you want to be prevalent, you want to be present in your children's lives, because you had a mother who was present in yours.
Yeah. I feel like that is something that I try to remind myself of, that I've heard before, and it really is true. It's not as much as we tell our children. We can tell them all day to do this and do that, but they look at what we do. And my mother she'll say to me all the time, you don't remember when we did this? No. But subconsciously, there's so many things that I remember, because it's important for me to be like at my children's activities, different things that I know that she did. It's important that my children are in activities. You know, there's so many things that I remember from her example. And this is a platform for moms, not discounting my father, he had a whole, different type of impact on me. But I remember those things, and that did shape me. So I try to do the same for my children. A lot of times, I will speak to them, in a positive way, and you're this and you're that. And then I remember I have to say that to myself, the very same thing. We can't just say these things to our children, try to shape them, and then, not do it for ourselves, not live that example, because that's really how they learn. So, let me see, one of the questions. This is what I want to ask you. This is something that happened to me. I felt like when I was trying to do so many things that I, at some point, crashed and hit a wall. Like I couldn't do it. And I've talked to so many moms who are in that same space who have that. Why do you think that happens, or do you see that happens to moms, or did that even ever happen to you, where it was just too much?
There are times when I think all moms feel that they're overwhelmed and overworked. But as I said, it depends on how much you want it. We tend to brush ourselves off and get back up. But being realistic, in the time that I was a young mother, the competition wasn't there. There's so many young moms now. There's so many male and female who are trying to be entrepreneurs. That wasn't the case in my day and age. So I took the line that was more secure, where going into education, where there was the security that there would always be a job for me. But I married a man who is an entrepreneur. So I understand the things that I have two daughters who have followed in his footsteps, and one who did in mine. So I understand what you're going through, but I was the stabilizing factor. I had the security. But I stayed with someone, and I saw the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. So I think I understand that.
But do you feel like one of the other elements of this platform is it's indirectly about children? It's not like, how to do activities necessarily with your kids. It's more about us, but we're moms. What about what I'm finding now in this stage of my life? I've said before that I am going through divorce, so I have a completely different schedule with my children. And part of me being exhausted was originally when I was with my children 7 days a week. So fortunately and unfortunately, this new transition has given me scheduled moments that my children are not with me. And that's allowed me to breathe, and it's allowed me to excel in business. And I quite frankly don't think that I would have been able to do that had I not had that. So what I wanted to ask is, do you think, or how important is the self-care? How important is us taking the time to have those moments? Because a lot of moms don't do it or don't know how to do it. How important is that in your life? How important is that?
Well, I have not been in those shoes of going through a divorce, but all I can say in advice to any mother who is in that situation or not, you never ever forget about your children. So even though you may have scheduled moments without them, mentally, you think about them,
Yep.
they're still with you, and
That's
that
true.
can be a different stress all in itself.
That's true.
So I've seen that effect not only on you, I've seen it on other young ladies who are in that situation. So it's just a different stress, but no matter what, as a mother, your children are always at the forefront. So self-preservation is of the utmost. You even in the professional world, in education,
Yeah.
we stress mindfulness and self-preservation. That's first.
Right.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of someone else. So that is important, and a lot of it is not just rest, it's mental.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very important. But no matter what, the children are always there, and you won't get that peace of mind if you think in any way that they're having an issue.
Yeah.
So that in itself can cause an additional stress. So you have to be at peace and come to some type of resolution with the way that your interaction with your children, the way it happens.
So when you had the young children and you were a professional, so you had to make sure that you were together and took time for yourself. How were you able to do that with such a rigorous schedule?
This is one thing that I found is I had a deadline, and I'm sure, well, you should remember this. Bedtime for my kids, 8 o'clock. There was no way they were missing that deadline. By 8 o'clock, they were bathed, they were in their rooms, in their beds. Now, they could read a book, they could watch TV for maybe 30 minutes, but 8 o'clock, there were no exceptions. They met that deadline because that is the time that I had for me to have my peace of mind.
Right.
And so it was necessary.
Yeah.
So that was just one thing that worked for me, and I had to have it.
You know what? And I got that from her because my kids, 8:30, I stand very firm on that. And even if I'm doing things for prepping for them for the next day, mentally, it's got to happen. They have to be in that because it's total chaos for me if not. And I stand firm on the bedtime. That helps a lot.
It helped me.
Okay. What would you say to, I know you have daughters who have kids, so this probably is what you would say to us, but if you were to do your journey again, what would you say to your younger self, or what would you do differently, or would you do anything differently? Did you do it right? I shouldn't say right. Did you do it the way you're pleased with?
I don't think I would do anything differently.
Okay.
I am so, I guess you could call me obsessed with my children, but I must confess, there's nothing like being a grandma. There is nothing like being a grandma. Really, honestly, I love it.
That's the best, huh?
I absolutely love it.
She's a great grandma, as I'm sure you can imagine. Okay. See, is there anything that you would like to say to young moms who are in this pursuit of being successful? You see them as a professional. You see them as a mother, and just, you've met a lot of our friends. Is there anything that stands out to you? I know one of the things that one time my mom was here when I was getting my kids ready in the morning, and after I finished, she told me, you don't need to be a perfectionist, which is one of my things that I struggle with. And I didn't even realize, and it's right, that's absolutely accurate, that perfectionism thing in every little thing for everything, and it can make me late. So I try to be mindful of that, but that was one of the notes that you gave to me. So is there something that you feel that young women, young moms could do differently, or that would help them in their pursuit of success?
The only thing that I can say is take time for yourself. For me, it was that 8 o'clock deadline that they had to be in bed. And enjoy your kids. And as you just said, it's perfection does not matter. Let them be a kid.
Yeah.
Let them be a kid. But always let your child know that you're there.
Yeah.
That is probably the most important thing, is that they know whenever they need you, or they need someone,
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah.
No matter what. To always have that door open.
That's important. This. Okay, now this is the question you have to answer. It's going to be hard. Who is your favorite daughter?
I have 3 favorites.
See, she's smart. You knew she was going to answer that way. All right. Thank you, Mommy. I'm so happy that you came.
Love you.
Love you too. This is Barbie Baptiste Gardner with my mommy, Estelle Baptiste. Taurus Baptiste, sorry. She goes by both names, sorry. And this is Mommy Sense, mastering our maze to success, because success is never a straight path. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Bye.